All right, what's on schedule for the day? Oh yeah, our year-end wrap-up with the top 5 comedy-focused shows and movies of the year. Everyone's doing decade stuff, so we should do... I'm bored. I don't want to do that. We have to change things up. News time is 6 after all. Whenever the milestone is reached, things get worse. Seasons of TV shows, months of relationship, kids, all bad. Who am I kidding? I wish I had all of those. Let's switch the year-end wrap-up to 5 comedy influences of the year. Okay, I'm just sad now, so just roll the thing.
It's news time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and these are the comedy influences that you didn't know about. You see, I got myself all mixed up there. It's been years since I've started doing the top 5 end of year wrap-up show thing for this show, and it's gotten really stale. So this year, I decided to change things up a little bit. I'm calling it the State of Comedy. This episode will cover the movies, shows, comedians, and whatever else or whomever else changed the comedy for the year. And no, this is not going to be some type of decade thing because that's stupid and everybody's already doing it and I'm not everybody. I mean, if everybody jumped off a bridge, I would totally do it, but that's only because I want to die. This year saw the introduction of several new players into the podcasting arena. Conan OBrien was probably the biggest of all of them. His new show was seen as a revolution in podcasting, even though podcasting revolutionized radio over a decade ago. But small gripes here and there shouldn't take away from the mass appeal of the show. Conan, along with his trusty assistant Sona and producer/podcast host himself, Matt Gorley, have been able to land some of the biggest names that have graced podcasting. Period. 2 former First Ladies, alternative comedians, musicians, and more have spent an hour with Coco inside the podcast room that should probably be tested for air quality. And if Variety has anything to say about it, this is one of the first podcasts that has ever existed. Again, in a medium that has been around since before the original iPhone. But just because Conan can come in and make a podcast extremely successful in a short amount of time doesn't mean that everyone else can do it. I mean, yeah, Dax Shepard did it, but that's just a one-time deal. There are 750,000 podcasts. That number keeps growing, and it won't stop because no one is regulating this thing. Yet only 1% of those shows actually makes money. So if you're one of the lucky ones, you too can join Conan and his new friends atop podcasting's Mount Rushmore. Along with the audio side, the visual aspect of comedy Shania Twain. Stand-up specials from Julio Torres, Mike Birbiglia, Gary Goldman, and Lil Rel Howery heighten the genre to new, heights. Julio's featured so many styles of comedy, it requires many playthroughs just to comprehend it. I mean, it's jokes. What's there to comprehend? Lil Rel's was shot in a high school auditorium. The point of these is that they changed the format. It boiled down to set a punchline. However, different format or change in venue is always welcome. With all the new specials comes a new way to watch them. A couple of years ago, Netflix, for better or for worse, started, for a lack of words, innovating comedy special outputs by releasing a new special once a week for a year. Now they probably put out a comedy special every day, but back in 2017, weekly comedy was unheard of. 2019 saw the results of Netflix's massive buys of big-name comedians. We saw the second return of Dave Chappelle, Amy Schumer dropped an hour, Wanda Sykes, the return of Aziz Ansari, Ray Romano, and a series of featuring comedians of the world, aptly titled Comedians of the World. Late night also changed in that our president was a part of, let's say, 90% of the monologue jokes. With that being said, we saw advancements in the genre too. Conan's TBS series went to a half-hour format without a house band or musical performances. Editing still feels rushed, and the promised bonuses like exclusive clips or extended interviews have yet to be implemented. Plus, the new format could stand to go beyond the traditional 21-minute structure. I know TBS relies on advertising advertisers, but John Oliver and Desus and Mero shows benefit greatly from the freedom of going long. Plus, the show was supplemented by uploads of the comedian's previous 20-year pre-TBS life. Not everything from the NBC days is there, but stuff trickles in at a good pace. On the broadcast front, James Corden and Jimmy Kimmel both had a healthy amount of guest hosts, which, again, I will champion this until the end of time. We should bring guest hosts back periodically. Corden himself is proving he's not a one-hit wonder as his YouTube numbers continue to grow. Kimmel's long quarter-hour monologues are witty and have garnered interest outside of the internet and TV. Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Fallon vied for the #1 spot in ratings, which is interesting given how the former is reliant on political humor and a way too hardcore fan base, while the latter is much sillier, but welcome in this world of hosting. We also saw the addition of Lily Singh on NBC, and she's really showing her age. I don't think there's anyone there who has seen a late night show, even though at least 2 of the show's writers have worked on recent shows. The sketches are one note and everything seems forced, much like the interview portions of Desus and Mero. However, negative stuff aside, we finally have consistent brown faces in late night, and the sky is the limit. Just tighten things up and we're good to go. Seth Meyers' show boomed, especially with the use of a closer look. Not only that, his monologues, which harken back to his days as the host of SNL's Weekend Update, are short and to the point, not to mention get great views online. Samantha Bee has carved her own corner of the late night world by not participating in ratings battles. She's simply the best doing it right now. And then there's Hassan Minaj too as well. I forgot to write about him. And finally we have film. Movies, as they're also known. While there weren't much strides, we did see romantic comedies explode with people of color in leading roles. Both Someone Great and Always Be My Maybe led the charge for critically praised comedies with brown people as the leads. Yesterday, Isn't It Romantic, Last Christmas, and a handful of others needled at the masses with their charming leads and lovely stories about love, which doesn't exist. And with that, 2019 ends. A whole new decade of comedy is starting. What will it bring? Hopefully, a lot more color and way more vaginas. Oh, don't give me the wrap it up sign because I said vaginas. They're natural. And that's it for this year's news time. You can follow us on the other stuff, do the things, subscribe, all that. Who cares? Does anyone really know what I'm saying at the end of these? I'm going to keep this in because even the greatest people have the worst mess up. Instagram, @C+Comedy. Facebook, @C+Comedy. Me, @ChadBlackWhite. Everywhere. Do it. Bye.